South China Morning Post, 23 November 2023, after the troop departure order, would China and India's rivalry over the Maldives intensify, or is it just more fiction than fact? China supported the newly appointed Prime Minister of the Maldives and is currently playing a role in the global power struggle. The Maldivian President, Mohamed Muizzu, raised concerns about a growing rivalry between Beijing and New Delhi over the strategically important archipelago. He ordered India to remove its troops from the tiny island nation following this month's election. Due to the country's location on a vital trade route in the Indian Ocean, Beijing and New Delhi have been fighting for influence there. Analysts claim that these sea routes are essential for India to protect Kerala, its southern state, and that they may also become a flashpoint between the two countries, whose ties have soured since a border dispute 3 years ago. Security experts claim that there is currently little chance of hostilities between the two Asian superpowers over the Maldives, pointing out that all parties are working to achieve a settlement and that New Delhi's composed response to the pullout order indicates this. The nation's India First policy was one of the election platform items the newly elected Maldivian leader had previously run on. In September, he overthrew his predecessor, Ibrahim Mohamed Muizzu, accusing him of letting India maintain influence over the island nation. India has 70 soldiers in the Maldives, a radar post, and surveillance planes. Indian aircraft and helicopters are employed for medical evacuations, while their warships assist in defending the island nation. Manoj Joshi, a distinguished scholar at the Observer Research Foundation, expressed optimism for a solution and stated that New Delhi had responded appropriately by not overreacting to the order to remove troops. Muizzu's administration declared earlier this week that it attempted to negotiate a practical agreement with India. India's location makes it impossible to ignore. Joshi remarked, "China is too far away," citing India's closer geographical closeness to the Maldives. He also stated that the combined forces of the US and India should be able to serve as a deterrent in the case of a threat from the Chinese military. Given his election pledge, Indian experts think Muizzu's anti-Indian position should be seen as purely symbolic for voters. However, a China-based analyst claimed that the Maldives' voting pattern demonstrated the country's intention to reaffirm its sovereignty. Most people in the global south believe they are the victims of US financial dominance after European physical dominance. According to Einar Tangen, a senior scholar at the Taiha Institute think tank in Beijing, they want to be allowed to follow their development paths and are not eager to be subjected to any new form of domination. He said, "The Maldives vote should be viewed in this context, not as a false dichotomy that requires nations to pick sides. I am keeping an eye on the trade route. The Maldives has long been an ally of India, and Delhi's foreign policy has prioritized the country's strategic importance." But after Abdullah Yameen, the half-brother of the late dictator Maumoon Abdul Gayoom, was elected president in 2013, the country quickly moved toward Beijing. China and India have invested significantly in the Maldives' infrastructural development recently. Beijing has contributed to constructing sizable public housing complexes on reclaimed land and the China-Maldives Friendship Bridge, which connects the capital Mali to another island. India gave the Maldives $100 million in aid last year to assist the island nation in overcoming difficulties brought on by the fall of tourism during the pandemic. A contract to construct viaducts and bridges connecting Mali to other islands was signed between India and the Maldives in August 2021. Under its Neighborhood First policy, the Indian government has abstained from meddling in Maldivian internal affairs and has instead concentrated on giving financial assistance. However, since Muizzu's victory, ties between India and the Maldives have deteriorated, and observers claim that New Delhi subtly ignored the government over his swearing-in event. Arunachal Pradesh is a state that both China and India dispute. Kiran Rijiju, the Earth Sciences Minister for India, traveled to the Maldives last week to attend the ceremony. In contrast, in 2018, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was present during Muizzu's predecessor, Ibrahim Mohamed Muizzu's inauguration. It was the first Indian premier to visit the Maldives since former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh did so in 2011. Since then, observers said, the Maldives and China have improved relations, and Muizzu's People's National Congress Party has supported Chinese loans. However, Tangen noted that the rivalry between China and India for the Maldives should not be exaggerated and that the island nation's infrastructure development should be viewed in the context of broader commerce development. It is more fantasy than the fact that China and India are competing on trade routes. The speaker stated that trade infrastructure is necessary for development, not for competitiveness. China will inevitably increase its investments in the Maldives. Still, India is also expected to be heavily represented there because the island nation's economy depends on Indian visitors and hospitality workers, according to Push Pishpant, a former dean of Jawaharlal Nehru University's School of International Studies in New Delhi. The Maldives cannot drive out every Indian. Pant continued, it will be like them shooting themselves in the foot.